Trump chose the Secretary of Agriculture, the very last one, and it was right before he got inaugurated, so that means he must not care about agriculture. Well, I don't think that's necessarily true. One of the things that the committee did, first thing we did was we come up with a top 5 list of folks that we thought would make very good candidates for the Secretary of Agriculture. And he really didn't listen to us at first very much. In fact, it was the week before he got inaugurated that he interviewed the first ones that were on our list. He had a lot of them ahead of time. He was really looking for somebody that was female and hopefully Latino. And he looked long and hard, and they couldn't find anybody that actually fit the bill that understood agriculture. So Sonny Perdue was the very first one he interviewed for the job, and he was the very last one. So Sonny ended up getting the nod. Unfortunately, he hasn't been confirmed yet, but the good news is that all of the paperwork has been turned over to the Ag Committee, the Senate Ag Committee, as well as the FBI report on ethics. That's been turned over now too. So I still wouldn't expect him to be having a hearing before the last weekend of March, maybe early April, but hopefully we get something done soon. The problem is sounding board, so he wants to hear what all the groups have to say, then he wants to run it by us. So it's a good sounding board, and you should feel good because all the folks that are on that, I know most of them actually, and they're very good. They're farmers just like you and me are, and I think that's really, really important. And that's one of the things that the group really stressed. We wanted a farmer as a Secretary of Agriculture. We have not had a secretary that's been a farmer since John Locke, clear back with Ronald Reagan, and so we thought it was about time. I will tell you, I would have rather seen a Midwest person, but Sonny's a good compromise. I think he'll be good. As a lot of you know that worked on farm bills, it's not so much the differences between Democrats and Republicans, but it's more differences between Midwest and the South. Like the white ones, the white commodities like cotton and sugar and rice, they have a different perspective. So Sonny is adamant that he's going to work with Midwest agriculture, and we're going to do that. In case you want to know a little about Sonny, he was one time a Democrat, and he switched to be a Republican, and he ran for governor, and he was governor for 8 years. His cousin, David Perdue, is the senator in Georgia which happened to be his cousin. Understanding what it is we are talking about, and make sure we're strong with our legislators and tell them that these are things we need. One of the things that you hear a lot also about is cutting regulations. And I'm all for cutting regulations and red tape. But again, remember I said there's also some unintended consequences. You know, it's nice to talk about EPA and let's just cut 20% and we're going to get rid of all those people and it'll be smooth sailing. Just remember one thing. How do we get our biotech events approved? Through EPA. So if we don't have the proper facilities there and the proper people, we may not get any new events approved for quite some time. And then the other thing too is what are people going to say when they don't have the backing and the science behind what the government says is good. I just think we need to be careful about, streamlining regulations is good, but make sure we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And so Mr. Trump wants us to think about some of those things. But conservation, we've come a long way on conservation, and I'm a big no-tiller, and the millions of pounds of topsoil we've saved. Do you really want to go ahead and go back to more plowing? I hope not. One of the chief things that interested me to getting on the Trump Ag Committee was trade. I think everybody was extremely good to agriculture, and still is. You don't think people took notice when the legislature in Mexico was starting to have a law passed to not use our corn, and they had these trade missions going down to South America to see if they could, get stuff down there. Trade's important. Now, I will tell you, there's a lot of strong trade proponents on that ag team. And Mr. Trump, well, I should say, we hear from Mr. Charles Herbster, which is the chair, which sees Mr. Trump quite often. And he says, Mr. Trump gets it. He knows that. This is all about negotiation. It's all about, if you notice kind of his plan of action is he magnifies a problem and then a lot of wind and smoke and then coming up with a compromise solution to make the problem go away. One of the things that we're adamant about is no backsliding. If we're going to do another trade deal, then we're not going to negotiate for something less than we already have. So, and he said that's fine. In the same way with other regulations. So I think trade will eventually be okay, but we got to make sure. I think that's part of our job, is to make sure that trade is recognized as important. Agriculture cannot survive without trade. We are a production machine in this country. We don't have the problems of some other industries like manufacturing. We can outproduce anybody in the world. We produce too much, and the way we survive is produce more. And so we got to find homes for these grains, and we got to make sure that we do it also in a way that doesn't hurt the environment. Senator, because Mitch McConnell was pushing him to do that so he could get another Republican, because they were going to name a Republican as a replacement. But, I'm not sure how much advantage you have of having 53 senators or 52 senators, but we were adamant. She was actively campaigning against him during the election, but she came this close to being Secretary of Agriculture. She did. Then there was another one, there was a couple more in Texas, women that were going to get it, and we just fought it. We said no, this was not. And so he was not happy about it, but at the end, the compromise was Sonny Perdue, and I think we can work with Sonny. He's a good man.